Okay guys, so today we're covering warping tools. So unlike most of the tools that we cover, these ones are in a little different place. So most of our tools usually located to the left over here. Ta-da! However, these tools are special. These tools are known as the Liquify tools. So if you go up to the top of your page, you'll see Photo Persona and Liquify Persona. Liquify is what we're going to be doing today. So you'll notice immediately all your tools to the side change. And Liquify is named Liquify because, very specifically, it turns your picture into a liquid. So for instance, you can already see I've got a grid. You guys see the grid that pops up in this way? Once you've got that grid, you can start pulling yourself as if you were liquid or taffy. So for instance, let me give myself that Frankenstein forehead. And you can see now I have this giant forehead. Effie, do you mind hitting the lights? Like normal, you can of course undo to do everything. However, unlike your usual tools, your options are not found at the top. Your options are found over here to the side. So for instance, my brush size is over here. And the speed of everything is another thing that you might want to be concerned with. Speed determines how quick the changes are. Not as important for here, but more important for the other tools. But again, there you go. The trick with a lot of these tools is just a lot of slow movement. So there, I have a giant forehead. Man, looks like I'm balding now. However, if I want to do something like expand my hair rather than my forehead, give myself a giant hairdo, I might want to take my size down further and just carefully pull my hair. Specific effects sometimes take smaller movements. Since I'm moving something smaller, like trying to give myself an afro, notice I'm just doing really small pulls at the edge to pull out. If I keep on doing this, eventually I'm going to give myself a really giant head of hair. But notice that will take a while to do. So interesting effects like making your hair bigger are possible, but they are slow, gentle pulls. And now my hair's slightly bigger in this case. I'm just going to even it out just a little bit. All your tools are to the side. We're going to go over them one by one. Your first tool up here is the pull tool, or the push tool, in which you can push things around. So I can, of course, also, for instance, give myself a little Picasso treatment by pushing some things down and some things up. It's beautiful, guys. It's beautiful. Your second tool is the push tool. So your push forward tool, of course, pushes things in a wherever direction that you're pushing them. The second tool is another kind of push tool, but it's very specific the way it works. If you swipe down, it pushes things to the left. If you swipe up, notice what direction it's pushing. So up is right, down is left. So for instance, I can make one side of my face really small, and then with the opposite movement, expand my face up. Similarly, swiping right pushes things up, and swiping left pushes things down. So this is a little bit more specified movement. You don't have as much control, but it's nice and consistent. So if you know if you have to push everything in one direction, this is a nice tool to do so. Notice if you pull too far, notice my things start to separate, and I start looking like a Siamese twin.
That's great. It seemed to have that one movie with the guy having two faces.
Third tool, and be aware, in the past, I don't know if they fixed this with an update, but in the past, this tool has been misplaced with the wrong symbol. So if you can see this one looks like a swirl. If it's been corrected, and let's see if it has been corrected, this should twirl, yes, awesome. This should twirl things around. So notice it's always going to twirl things to the right. If you want to go the opposite direction, hold down your Alt key, and it should twirl the other direction then. If I keep on going?
Mr. Hebert, please call the main office. Mr. Hebert, call the main office.
See, it just kind of whirlpools down, so it swirls even more. Yeah, eventually, if you keep on holding it down, it turns into like a little whirlpool. So, just beware. Too much of any of these tools turns really weird. Fourth tool down is your Liquify pinch tool. Hold on, let me double check. That one should squeeze. Oh, squeeze and bloat. So if you have it regularly, it'll make things bigger. Whoops, I shouldn't zoom out that much. So if the regular tool makes things go bigger, if you hold down Alt, it does the opposite. You'll notice with a lot of these, if you hold down Alt, it does the opposite of the regular tool. So holding down Alt shrinks things down. Holding down regular blows things up. So for instance, let's see if I can make my teeth big. Slowly trying to make my teeth bigger. You'll notice I don't have the speed up very high. Let's see what happens if I blast it up to 100. There we go. So depending upon whether you want a fast or a slow change, you want to dial up that speed up or down. There we go. That's the smile I always wanted. So here's the pinch tool, similar to holding down Alt on the bloat tool. I don't know why they separated these two out, because both these tools do the exact same thing. You just hold down Alt to make them opposite. Last but not least is the turbulence tool, which just adds a bunch of weird noise to your painting. So notice the noise tool just kind of just messes up your face. Or not face, but messes up the picture. Yep. So it can, if you do it in small amounts, it almost makes it look like a watercolor painting. So notice, I did it in a small amount over here. It looks almost very watercolory. And let me undo all that. I'm going to skip the next two tools. We don't really use those too often. You may want the Liquify Reconstruct tool, which is the one that looks like this circle arrow here, because that's a nice big undo. Everything back to normal. So if you ever don't like a change, just run your Liquify Reconstruct tool right over, and everything turns back to normal. Two important tools are the last two ones. Freeze and thaw. Freeze allows you to isolate things that you don't want to change. So it's going to highlight them red. That doesn't actually change the color. This is just an indicator to you that this is not going to change if you warp things. So the freeze adds that red. The thaw takes away the red. And you'll notice if I try to change things now, anything colored red won't change. So for instance, if I'm trying to make myself look super fat, but still want my eyes to still look the same, notice my eyes don't change at all. I need to pump up the speed. There we go. So I can make the rest of my head really fat while keeping my eyes looking relatively normal. Let me take away the thaw. And you'll notice my eyes, perfectly normal. The rest of my face, not. So So keep in mind, if you want something specifically to not get warped, to not get changed, use that freeze tool. So as you're doing your project today, you might want to say, I don't want to change the rest of my face, I just want to change my nose. You'll just cover up everything, and then take a nice brush that's nice and small, and just unthaw your nose. Then everything's fine but your nose. Then I can take, for instance, my pinch tool, give myself a really tiny nose, whoops. And you'll notice the rest of my face is fine, it's just that nose area that's gotten really weird. Questions about these tools so far, guys? Okay, so what I want you guys to do is you are going to load a picture of yourself and then choose one of the monsters first on Google Classroom and see if you can change yourself into that. That's your first piece. Your second piece should be something that you choose on your own, a change that you want to make on your own. Can be something monstrous, can be something just regular. But I want you to do a change that you want to do as your second piece.